Hi, this is a quick tutorial on making use of the United Nations World Population Prospects. Pretty cool website put out. Helps you get an idea of the demographics and where they're heading. I'm looking at the country China. I'm looking at the line charts, and there's a few different graphs that are shown. There's total population by variant, total population by broad age group, total fertility, mortality under age 5, life expectancy at birth by sex, and life expectancy at birth both sexes combined. You can also go to the population pyramids and see the number of people for each of the age categories. And maybe you've heard of the term a population pyramid, and this would be an excellent example of a population pyramid where most of the people are young, supporting a smaller percentage of people who are older, and those people who would be kind of like the backbone of the workforce would be starting around age 20, maybe going through age 50, and so they would be helping out the people who are younger as well as people who are older, doing most of the work. Not to say that people who are older can't be doing a lot, they do, but they're not perhaps contributing as much to the economic growth of the country. I take a look at what the UN projects for China in 2100, and this is an example of an inverted pyramid where you can see that there's a greater number of older people compared to younger people. And if you look at that 20 to 50 category, you can see that it's a little bit more, but not a lot more perhaps, than what it was in 1950, and yet it has to support a significant higher percentage of older people and a smaller percentage of younger people. Let's take a look again at the line charts. So this is total population by variant, and there's a high variant, a medium variant, and a low variant. And basically, these three models are what if people had a lot of kids, what if they had a lot less kids than expected, and blue would be like this is the number of kids we're actually expected to have. So you can see that for this total population by variant for China as predicted in 2017, the population is expected to peak somewhere around 2025 and then decrease. For if there are fewer children than expected, it's still somewhere around the 2025, a little bit earlier, and then expected to decrease dramatically, the population. And the red shows the high variant with the increase. I mean, that's if people had a lot more kids than expected by the model. If we head down to total fertility, an important number to keep in mind is 2.1. In general, you need about 2.1 kids per family to be able to replace the size of the population. 2.1 because not everybody in the next generation will have kids, so you need to have a little bit more than just the 2.0 kids. That would be an exact replacement. You know, there's accidents that happen, people get hurt, not everyone gets married and has kids, and so the population would decline below that 2.1. You can see that the total fertility predicted for China is definitely below the 2.1, which means that the population is expected here, based upon the medium variant, to be declining. Let's take a look at Mexico. Alright, here we go. And we'll go through this a little bit quicker. So again, total population by variant. You can see that for the low variant and the expected model, the population expected to decline. High variant continue to increase. If you look at total fertility, blue shows Mexico, red shows Central America, and green is Latin America and the Caribbean. And again, it's expected to fall below that 2.1 replacement level, as shown here with the medium variant decreasing. Looking at the population pyramid, we can definitely see a pyramid for 1950, and we see the inverted pyramid for 2100, and you can see that the people 20 to 50 years old will be supporting a huge portion of people who will not be contributing as much to the economic growth, and that's going to put a lot more challenge on this group, making it more difficult perhaps for them to invest in the next generation as they continue to take care of the prior generation and themselves. Finally, I'm going to conclude by looking at Japan. So here is Japan with the population pyramids, and again we see a typical pyramid, 1950. By 2100 it's again expected to be this inverted pyramid, and the people are 20 to 50, a very small overall proportion of the total population. And so again, in terms of economy, it's probably not going to be so good for Japan. If you look at the total population by variant, we're seeing declines expected for the population, for total fertility dropping below the 2.1. And I know I said this last one, but let's also just look at United States. So in the US we have a high immigration, and people who immigrate into the US are also more likely to have kids, and so we may not see something so extreme as we've seen in these other countries, like most of Europe and Japan and such. Okay, so here's total population by variant. So low variant, population declining. Medium variant, it doesn't look like it's doing a dramatic decline at all. If anything, it might be stabilizing or increasing, and then of course the high variant in every case shows it increasing. If you look at total fertility, though, you can see that by 2100, in fact, beginning most likely probably like in 2017 or so, a population below replacement. And so what that tells us is that over time the population size would be expected to decline. If we look at the population pyramids, again we see the typical population pyramid, except for this part here, the 10 and 20-year-olds isn't broader based. And by 2100, again we see somewhat of this inverted population pyramid. So we definitely don't see what you would expect for a population explosion. If anything, it seems to be either on the neutral side or a population implosion. But the beauty of this is that this is the United Nations website, and we can explore this and ask good critical thinking questions.